So here is the Spirit Halloween Ghostbusters trap. This is actually the third one I got. The last one I had a problem with these 3 LED lights here. You can see in this one, here we go. I'm getting all 3 of them now. So at least that's working. And all the other lights are working as well. So that's good. And the doors are working fine on this. You know, the same problem kind of with this one as the others. I wish those doors would kind of open up a little more than they are. The interesting thing about it is that the teeth and the gears could actually open them further than the doors are actually opening. So I'm wondering if that can be modded to behave a little differently there. But I guess here's where we find out. First things, I opened up the battery compartment. There's no screws behind there that we really need to worry about. But I am going to remove the batteries before we start. So that pulls aside. Let's pull those batteries out. So the next thing is there are 4 kind of spots that have screws. 1, 2 on this side, and 1, 2 on this side over here. A couple of things that are also worth noticing or noting. These wheels need to come off before taking it apart because, as you can see, they join the 2 halves that are going to be coming apart together. So I'm just going to pull those off. They just pull right off like that. Awesome. Now, let's pull out these screws. Just zoom in a little bit. So the screws are all pretty small, not too bad. Another thing before I try and split this apart is here on the front of the unit there's this panel. That panel looks like it's separate from everything else, so I'm guessing that's going to come out as these come apart. Alright, let's see if this splits. Yep, just like you would guess. So, okay, there are the 2 halves of the unit right there. So, pretty straightforward. You've got your speaker up there, little circuit board right there, wiring to all the different switches. It's actually kind of nice about this is that a lot of this is connected together in a way that you could pop them apart. There's the gear mechanism for one of the sides of the door. Not sure how exactly to get to all of that. Okay, so that handle just separated out just like that. And it looks like to basically the mechanism we're looking at here is this thing's pushing the door down like that. That's in focus. There we go. There we go. So the handle, that's the full handle assembly. This part seems like it probably comes out. That just inserts into the handle like that. And there's a little track in there that it kind of fits into. Alright, now looking at the rest of this, I guess the most interesting bit here is the doors. They have those gears there on the sides. And this gear assembly does lift out. The gears are in there pretty well. This gear's in there. Not entirely sure what that one's for. And here are the springs that the doors are. A couple of spring-loaded tabs there, it looks like. Yeah, pretty straightforward actually. Not a whole lot going on here. I'm guessing the circuit board, if we pull it out. And there's the circuit board. Not a whole lot to it actually. And the nice thing is it looks like all the wires are soldered in a way that you could desolder, or even the nice thing is you could pull out a lot of these cords just like that and remove the wires from this and route that to something else. This goes over to this LED here. So this blue and green wire goes over to this LED here in the corner, right there. This plastic. Nice thing about that panel that everyone's talking about wanting to paint is it comes right out. So you can remove it to paint it. So that's really nice actually. And the assembly for the 3 LEDs down here is actually, it's fairly modular. It looks like everything's kind of held in place with hot glue. There's the 3 LEDs inside. So, and there's a piece of plastic in front of them. On the side where the handle goes over here, there's plenty of room to, there's really nothing in that side here below the speakers. So, you know, that comes together at the back there, beneath where the speaker is. So you could easily put a hole there and route something and control the doors. And all those doors are inside of this circuitry. It's spring loaded. It does seem like the handle, the push down action on this handle probably is pushing the doors back in place, or at least taking the tension away from the springs and then holding the springs down. So that's something that you know, maybe some additional hardware is needed to be able to keep those springs depressed when they are not needed. Here's the springs right here. So yeah, something else that's kind of interesting to note here. So when this side of the spring trap door thing is being pushed down, the door is considered deactivated and closed. But when you let go of it, the door is considered open. So what that means from a kind of a practical standpoint here is that when that's in place, door is closed, door is opened, door is closed, door is open. And you can definitely rig this. I've already set this up so the door goes much wider. So that's a really easy modification to make right there. As you can see, I was really wanting this kind of like wide open angle, and that seems to have done it. I'm going to see how well it closes now once I get it all put back together, but that's an encouraging an encouraging start. So my fears have been basically confirmed. Making it so those doors swing wide, make it so they don't close all the way when the button is, you know, when the doors are in their inactive mode. But man, does it look so much better when the doors swing wide like that. So I'm going to have to see if there's a way to kind of get the best of both worlds and get that to work just how I want it. But I'll have to tinker around with that some more. So kind of final thoughts. This thing, I can't help but feel that this thing was designed to be easily modded. I mean, everybody was modding the proton packs last year already, and you know, a lot of the mechanisms like the internal spring for the handle are put in a location where they're kind of encapsulated so that when you take it apart you don't have a spring flying off somewhere and you have to reassemble some complicated spring assemblies. So it really feels to me, the way this is all put together, that either they were making it easy for people to mod, or we just got lucky and that's how it turned out. But so far, you know, there were only 4 screws holding it all together. 1 screw holding the circuit board inside. Most everything inside is held together with the wires are held in place with either hot glue or tape. And overall, just a pretty simple process. Everything just comes apart pretty easily. So that's really nice. It's hollow inside in most places, and being able to put a hole here in the back to have a, you know, a hose come out, putting in the assembly for the brass for the hose to hook into, and getting everything hooked up there would actually be pretty straightforward. I'm not sure what design will ultimately be best for making that happen. But yeah, last thought here, these little indentations here are the knobs. So exactly as everyone could already tell, just a single mold for each of the main sides of the trap. So highly moddable, very customizable. Even some of the parts that we're going to have to pull out to paint are already removable as they are. So definitely, in my opinion, worth picking up just because of how easily you can make it your own. Very easily be able to take a lot of this circuitry in here, pull this circuit board out, and replace it with something like a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino if you'd like to customize how everything works. There's wires and even these little, not exactly sure what you call them, but these heads that seat really easily into the circuit board that you can use for whatever you'd like. It makes it really modular and customizable in that way as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. More than happy to take pictures or more video of anything on the inside that